A woman has barricaded herself and her daughter inside their home.
State officials came to the house to remove the daughter from the home.
Boldo came to the attention of Child Protective Services after she decided to stop giving her 13-year-old controversial antipsychotic medication.
The Department of Human Services attempted to take the child from the mother.
Boldo barricaded herself in her home, and this lasted 10 hours.
Marianne was hauled off to prison for 5 days.
Ariana is now at a pediatric psychiatric facility where Godboldo claims she's being abused.
Her mother took the stand today defending her rights as a parent.
Part of it is the question, who decides what the best medical care is for a child? The government or the parent?
She was just trying to protect her daughter when police came to her door.
I did it because I wanted to save my child.
The dismissal of the charges today, initial reaction to that?
Yes, absolutely. Today is a day of justice. We thank Judge Ron Giles for standing on the Constitution, looking solely at the law, and found that all charges should be dismissed. Truly, it's justice for our case. There are a multitude of lawsuits against the pharmaceutical company of Risperdal right now. That was a devastating, harmful drug that should not be prescribed for this child. And no one looked at that.
If it were not for Allison Folmar, I would not be here speaking to you at this time. I would still be in jail, and my daughter would still be in a mental institution. She came in and she worked, it was like a whirlwind. So determined and confident that we're gonna do this, we're gonna get through this. She moved quickly on it, and I respected it, and I was so thankful. If I had spent another day in that jail, I think I would have lost my mind. Clearly, Allison is a warrior, and just determined. She is something that you have to deal with and that you have to pay attention to. You don't ignore Attorney Folmar. You just don't. I always told her that she was like Venus and Serena on the court. The way they would come at us, I tell you, they were throwing all kinds of things at us. And there were several attorneys, it was a lot more of them than it was of us. But Allison had those motions, and they'd send it across the court, and she'd send it back, and it was just absolutely incredible. It was a wonderful thing to see. And I said, wow, this is for me and for my daughter. I can't believe it, because I've never had anybody fight like that for me. So it was wonderful. It was very wonderful. It was just getting emotional, because it was so, just to have somebody fight for you like that and in your corner and don't give up. And we were on the phone every day. I mean, like every day, all day on the phone. If it were not for Allison Folmar being the attorney that she is and the person that she is, I would not be here right now. I would be locked away, and my daughter, we would be forgotten.
I saw the video with Marianne Godboldo and the psychiatric medicine, and I clicked on it. I felt her anguish, and I felt like, oh my God, I'm not the only one that went through this. I'm not alone. My husband and I were charged with medical neglect for refusing to give our daughter a very controversial drug, antipsychotic. Child Protective Services took her because I refused to give her the medication Risperdal. I said, this isn't right. I said, there's got to be something I can do as a parent. That's when I went online, emailed CCHR. Steve Wagner got a hold of me, and that man just overwhelmed me with relief. I actually felt the first sigh of relief when I talked to him. You know, he listened to me, he believed me, and told me about Allison and gave me her number. And I called her, and I just never thought, because, so many lawyers just don't, they'll get to you when they get to you, and here I'm thinking, I know she's a big city, Detroit, Michigan lawyer, and what the hey, she might call me, and she called me on a Saturday. Who does that? And that was my first, this woman is awesome. She's got a heart, she cares. She knew I had a little girl who was unlawfully seized for a ridiculous, bogus reason. And she listened to what happened. She goes, oh no, girl, we are gonna get your daughter back. And I'll be darned, that is exactly what happened. She came in like a wind. When Allison was in court for, I think it was our 8th or 9th appearance. And she got to go in and speak with the judge. And when she came out, Allison came in, she goes, girl, we got this thing. She goes, me and Judge Claire, I like this. And I'm like, get out. She goes, don't worry, we got it. You're gonna get your daughter back. And I'm just like, really? She's like, yeah. She knew the law. She knew what was right. She knew we were wronged. And she was gonna make it right.
I have to speak on individuals who just don't have the power or the resources to be able to fight. A situation where they're fighting literally for not only their physical life, but the life and the future of their child. When you inform your client on what the law is and what their right is as an individual to stand up to that doctor, to that psychiatrist and say, no, I don't have to give my child this drug, and this is why. They're trying to steal your client's child for life. They're playing for keeps. They're not saying, oh, we'll send your child back in a week or two. They are playing for keeps. So when I'm fighting with everything in me. When I go to court, I go to war. I am unapologetic about going to war in court because my client's life and their child's life is at stake. This is not child's play. This is not, you can't be a lawyer that goes along to get along and singing Skip to Malou type of law. When I tell you that this is battle, because they're coming at you from all angles. I mean, I don't just fight one attorney. You usually see in court one prosecutor, one attorney. No, you're fighting 4 different lawyers and the judge. And I do fight the judge. Excuse me if you are offended by, my posture. This is how it's going down. You have got to take this child off of these drugs. You have got to get this child out of this environment because it is killing this child. You have to be fierce. You have to be fearless. I have to tell them this is not a free-for-all for you to do anything you want to do with my child. I take it like my child. I'm the voice of those parents who are not able to fight and look a psychiatrist in the eye and say, no, you're going to open that book and you're going to tell me the truth about what you're doing to this child right now. And you're going to release the child right now because they cannot win. You are not speaking to a lawyer that is going to give in. There's no time to cower down now. I got to come and say, let's dig into this and we've got to win. How I go to court, I'm ready for war because you started the war and I now must finish it.